Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing good. So I was just watching some videos, and I was sitting over here. My mom must have put this over here. It's my old Game Boy case. I don't know if I've done this, but I got this case for it back then. It said it's Nintendo Game Boy, and I'll just take a look at it. I think mine somehow inevitably got damaged. The screen came out of it.
A bit of an exaggeration, but it all starts at one point. And
I can't have him on in the background when I do this, but he's been working on his boat a lot. Oh, look at all this! Oh, I got all this crazy stuff in here from a kid. Look at this. Here's all this. I've got an old pair of trick handcuffs. These were trick handcuffs. They have a slot here that you can release on, and they have a stop mechanism here. Eventually, these got out of hand and too serious, but I had one or two pair. They came in a cardboard box with the keys, and we used to talk about what was it, Cops and Robbers and Cowboys and Indians, and these are from Cops and Robbers. What's this? This is some type of play money. Let's see what kind of play money this is. Is it from Life or a demand note? This is from Life, I think. Demand note, $1,000 demand notes. Anyway. So the Game Boy, I have all these old keys here. The key was like this. That's what the key looked like. It had kind of the skeleton holes in it. Let's see if it still works. Yeah. This one got bent a little bit around the side. But yeah, anyway. These are some of the old keys we used to have. I don't exactly know what they're for. Only one of them was the handcuff key. So the Game Boy is not actually in here. Here are the old games I got. I got Super Mario Land. That was a great game right there. It had multiple levels. Metroid, and you see they got a little screw in the back, or a screw that keeps them held together, but they didn't really come apart. Metroid, Final Fantasy Legend, the Final Fantasy Legend, made in Japan, official Game Boy game. This was a good game. The Final Fantasy Legend. They were cool little games. Tecmo Bowl. There's Tecmo Bowl. This one was really good. Motocross Maniacs. Made in Japan. All these cartridges were made in Japan. Here was the connector cable. It was almost exactly like a USB cable, which came out later. I don't know what happened to the Game Boy. Maybe it's still in there. Here's another one of the handcuff keys. Solar Striker. This was a good game too. Oh, I didn't know I had two Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Legend 2. Wow, okay. F1 Race. Somebody was just on Jaslyn something on Twitch was just watching Formula 1. F1 Race. Made in Japan. Follow the Foot Clan. Ultra Games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was a good game too. Let's see what I got here. Oh, this was the cover. So somehow somebody came up and was looking at our Game Boy, or my Game Boy, and they peeled off the plastic screen cover to the LCD, and that was basically the end of the Game Boy. Dot matrix with stereo sound, and they had a light here for the battery, or a space there for the battery. This was an old card thing, but I never really used it. It was supposed to be for business cards or something. Panasonic, this is an old tape deck. Just sort of a mid-range tape deck at the time. And let's see what tape we got in here. The Little Mermaid. My daughter must have been playing with this. And here are the cases. They all came with cases. And you put the Game Boy cartridge in the case. I guess we got rid of the Game Boy. It's too bad. But once the cover to the LCD came off, so they just go just like that. They're kind of cool. I eventually, when I was at like a end of my teenage years and into adult, I went with the Sony mini disc player, and I liked that too. Because I could record on it in digital. I'd record stuff from the online radio when it was tough to get, and I eventually tried to get into some of the Pro Tools like sound adjustment and stuff, but I never really could do it. It was just took too much time or energy or whatever. So I don't have enough for all of these, so I guess I'll just throw some of them in here. Oh, man. Let's see what else I got in the closet back here. It was kind of good, but it did have a cardboard bottom to it, so it was like, I don't know. I knew it was going to crack apart eventually. But it did hold the Game Boy, and it held the Light Boy as well, which was sort of a magnifying glass with a light on top. I won't take the camera in there. I'll just see what I got in here. Stuff. Oh, I'll show you Booby Trap. I was talking about it a while ago. I'll show you Booby Trap and Battleship. Battleship I gotta get in a minute. I'll show you these two board games. This was a technical game. Back when, here it is, here's Booby Trap. Exciting fun for the whole family. It's got a measurement thing here, one false move, and Booby Trap, Parker Brothers, 1965. It's got a patent number on there. Parker Brothers trademark for its spring bar game equipment. Parker Brothers spring bar game, Booby Trap, right there. This was one of those that had to have been there before I was born, obviously. It's a great game. It was fun as kind of a kid to think about it. I could play it by myself too, so. Okay, so here's the Booby Trap game. Maybe it's been modified or adjusted, but this is basically it. It's got the spring here. And so what we do is we take all these pieces out. I don't dump them out, that's my thing. I try to set them here. And I'll play a game of Booby Trap. I don't know how the scoring is. They've got an old rules, but I won't read it. I'm worried I'll break it. The last game I played was with my grandma. I lost by 2. I don't know how we recorded that. I don't know. Maybe someone else maybe had my grandma's name. I don't know. But these are the little pieces. They're wood, and they're painted. So I guess the goal is just to sort of, you play it with another person. You count these up. I think these are 25. 25, just like coins, 25, 10, and 5. The blues are 5, but I think it's reversed. I think the blues are 10 and the yellows are 5. The smallest ones are 5 because there's so many of them. And the red ones are 25. So it's almost like coins in the US, but the nickel and the dime are opposite. Meaning in terms of size and shape. It's not exactly right, so. Hopefully this board stays together, or has stayed together. The trick to it was you gotta yank this back and then the wood would stick. And then you could place all these things back in it and then sort of slide it back, or you didn't want to totally let it go because it would shoot all the pieces out. Okay, let's see. So if I remember correctly, it's a loose, okay, you just slide it back. Now when I used to do it, it's a little bit breaky. I don't know why that is. I could yank the old one back and wedge it here, and then that way it would stick. I don't want to break the spring. I don't know how old it is. I could yank it back and it would tighten in here. Then I could add all these back and then loosen it. So I don't really, I guess I can hold it. I hadn't done that in a while. So we'll just try to do this non-randomly. That's a new one, non-randomly. I should probably turn on some lights. I'll do that after it's set. If you're a kid, you can play around, you know, like you put the red ones in the corners, you know, or try to make a design and see how difficult it would be, you know, to pull each one. I don't know how you'd lose the game, or, I don't know, let's read these instructions. I'll do the old chess master way. I'll play against myself, right? I did this a lot as a kid, so I'm not that ashamed of it. You know, I try stuff out, play games by myself a lot, see what was going on. I mean, a lot of the games had functionality that you didn't necessarily need. Now, you can snap it back, which is sort of what you do, and it doesn't work. So, now what I do is I add these here, and I have to do it gradually. I gotta go get the other pieces. I can do the shake method. Do the shake method. And see how it goes. But I'm gonna slide it gradually. There, it sort of fits in there. Ugh. I just gotta add these other two. Hope there's not more. You could always find stuff around your home you missed out somewhere. Okay. I'll just put these in here. We'll slide this here. Okay. Now let's read the instructions. Rules for playing. The object of the game, regular game for 2 or more players. Object of the game, excuse me, my throat is sore. The object of the game is to win as many points as possible by removing colored playing pieces from the game board without moving the spring bar. The player who has accumulated the most points at the end of the game is the winner. Setting up the board. Pull back the spring bar and place the playing pieces with the knobs face up in the section of the board in front of the spring bar. Mix the pieces and gently release the spring bar until it rests against them. Do not touch the spring bar again during the game. Okay, so it's on the other side. The playing pieces are now held under pressure and the game is ready for play. Method of play. Playing pieces are valued as follows. I was totally wrong, by the way. Large pieces are valued as follows. Large size pieces, 3 points. Medium size piece, 2 points. Small size piece, 1 point. A player is selected to take the first turn, and other players follow in rotation. On each turn, a player is allowed to touch only 1 piece. After touching a piece, a player may decide not to remove it and announces, "I pass." The next player then takes his turn. If the first player decides to take a piece and does so without moving the spring bar, he keeps it, and the next player takes his turn. If the first player decides to take a piece and in doing so moves the spring bar, he is penalized according to the rules below. Play is continued in this manner until there are as many playing pieces left on the board as there are players in the game. Let me read that again. Play is continued in this manner until there are as many playing pieces left on the board as there are players in the game. So the bar, the spring bar is going to move, but there's penalty. For example, if 5 players are playing, the game proceeds until there are 5 pieces remaining on the board. Each player then totals his points, and the player with the most points wins. Rules and penalties. Once a player has touched a piece, he must either pass his turn or remove the piece. So that's like in chess, touch move. You know, you touch the piece, you have to move it. Okay? I suppose if you can't move it, you forfeit. If he does remove a piece and the spring bar moves less than one of the spaces on the scale along the side, he has completed a successful play and keeps the piece. So it can move, but less than, I don't know, I'd say slightly less than a centimeter. If the spring bar moves 1 or more markings, the player is penalized 3 points, and the piece that caused the penalty is placed in a discard pile along with any other pieces that may have jumped out of the board or been pushed up on their side, so if it rotates in there. I think if it's pushed up, you can play it. It says pushed up on their side, so if it rotates. Whenever a player is penalized, he must discard from his winnings pieces equal to 3 points, 1 large size or 1 medium size piece plus 1 small size piece, or 3 small size pieces. In this way, each player can tell at a glance what his net score is at any time. Of course, if a player should owe more than he can pay, he must keep track of his debt and pay it off as soon as he wins enough points to do so. So you can go into debt in the game. Rules for passing. A player may pass as many times as he wishes, so long as each person playing has not already passed twice in succession. If everyone playing has passed twice in succession, then on the 3rd turn, a player must remove a piece, even though he is certain that the spring bar will move. For example, in a game with 3 players, game number 1, first turn, player A, I pass. Player B, I pass. Player C, I pass. Second turn, player A, I pass. Player B, I pass. Player C, I pass. Third turn, player A must pick. Player A must pick because all players have passed twice in succession. Game number 2, first turn, player A, I pass. Player B, I pass. Player C, I pass. Second turn, player A, I pass. Player B picks. Player C, I pass. Third turn, player A can pass if he wishes. Any player may again pass because all players have not passed twice in succession. Why a player passes? If players study the setup board carefully, they will note that the spring bar is not holding all the pieces tightly. Some pieces may be completely loose. Others, although touching each other, may not be under spring pressure and can be lifted out without releasing the spring bar. A loose playing piece can be found only by feeling carefully the tension on the piece. If the piece is being held tightly under tension, it is best to pass and try another piece on the next turn. How to develop skill. When the spring bar is released, architectural stress arches and stress patterns are formed. Skill comes in being able to recognize and trace those patterns. Rules for solitaire. Set up the board as in the regular game. Oh, so solitaire. This would be me playing the game. The object of the game is to remove all pieces except one. Tripping the spring bar no more than 3 times. That seems impossible. But they use it by time. That's really tough because, I mean, you'd have to do it by like a third to get down to 1 piece. You'd have to sort of somehow form a column or something, but it would still eventually snap. Variations with 2 or more players. The board is set up in the regular way and turns rotate in the same manner as in the standard game, except as follows. Sorry, my throat is really... I don't think I can read it all. They just sort of go on here. Okay. All right. So I'm basically just going to see how many points I can get without going over the limit for each one. So it's sort of a modified form. So now this one looks like it's not being touched by anything. Oh, it moved slightly. It shifted. So I got a three points there. Okay. Now because I did that, I got another loose one here. So there we go, 6. But the third one is not loose. And neither is the one around it. I used to look at this quite closely. I don't know if that one is. That one looks... There used to be always some of them down here that... I think I get this one. There's one. I'm worried about this one. I'm going to try to do one where it won't move, but it's so tough, it's going to move. Oh, it didn't. Okay. So I've got 3 and 3 and 1 and 1. That's 8. And here's 9. And I think I can get this one out too. Wow, that was unbelievable. 2. So I got 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Getting to 12, man, is tough. I can feel it. I feel this board. Getting to 12. There aren't really any easy. I've got this cross pattern right here, which makes it really tough. And this thing comes down here too. What I'm going to try is see if I move this bottom one, the whole thing is going to collapse, but I'm going to go for it. Oh, it's tough. You can feel the tension. And I don't know how far it went because I can't mark it. I think it was up above 2. So we're going to do the penalty. 3, which I don't get this one, and I remove 3. Oh, I jiggled it. That's sort of cheating. So I got a 1 and a 2. And I'm getting greedy and anxious, and I'm losing my patience. I want to go right for the 3 points here, but I know the whole board is going to shift if I do. There's one down here in the corner, which is really interesting, so I'm going to get that one. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, but the board already shifted. So I went up by 1 in total, but I lost the board. And this one's tough, and I'm going to lose it. But it didn't move too much, so I get to keep it. This one, and this one's loose, but the red one is not. And there's a 1 here. So I got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Of course, this is modified. It's already moved twice. I guess I would count the pieces if it moves once more or no more. I can't remember if it's moved 3 times or 2 times. I think it moves slightly once, large once, and then maybe slightly again. So you see, I got to 12 points, but I lost 6 here. I really don't know. They're all sort of intricate. I'm going to go for this one right here, but it's tighter than I thought, but it's safe. But I pulled it slow. And this one is raised, so my rule is I pick the second one too, which means I may incur a penalty. And I tap the other one, so you once again have another touch move error there. You can't really fix that. If your fingers move slightly, and that moves quite a bit. So we lose that one, and we lose that one. What do I go down to? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And I get a 3 here. This is great. And a 1. And I want to go for that 2, and I think it will snap the board. And I missed a 1. So that one goes out, and that one goes out. And this is sort of at some point somebody might say, oh, this is an easy way to play, but I think it's kind of fun. I'll get a 3 here, and a 2 here, and a 2 here, and a 2 here. But I don't think I can get the other 3. Either one, it's really weird. But I'll get a 2 here and a 1 here. And at this point, there's something going on because these reds have basically sort of formed an X across the board. It seems impossible though, but I'm going to try. I'm going to go for the lower red because it's raised. And it shifts, but not too much. It's just above the 5 there. So we got another one here, another one here. And I want to go for that one, but it's somehow pressured there. And this one is, I've always wanted here. And it just goes just below the 5. I think I'm going to use total on that one. But it did cross it, so I'll move 1 and move 1. But I'll get the other one right there. I'll get the 2. And that one's going to go. No, it's not. Okay, great. This is such a weird pattern. I don't know if you can see it here. It's like these reds form like a quarter circle all the way on the left side. And then the right side is sort of a different pattern. I can get this one in the center, but it's going to go. And I'm going to collapse that whole quarter circle. I can feel it's really tight, and it's just going to go. Okay, so now we remove this, remove this. This one is separate, and I remove a 3. And at this point, I could call the game, but I'll do a separate. I'll do sort of a above the line and below the line on the table, basically, for lack of a better term. And that one's penalty, because I think it went across the and basically these are almost all going to be penalties. And I got to pick this one, which is going to be a penalty again. And that's I lose that one. And at this point, right, you got to basically half and half here. There's just not any way to get any of these out of there. This whole thing. That one's success right there. Technically that one is over. So I lose that one. That one's very close. And there's not a lot I can really do here. I can get a 3. I can get a 3. They're pinched there. I can try this one and this one. And that's how they're there. So I got the last of these. So I come down to 4. 4 3s. And each one is going to be a 1 penalty. So I'm going to end the game there. But I'm going to go back to that rule, 1 person, 1 play. So I'm going to end up losing a lot of these because I just don't know any other way. It's almost like a bowling question. What I think I want to do, see if I let go of this, it's going to hold here and I'll get 1, but I'll lose 1. Which is what I'm going to try to do. Because I get 1, but I minimize. So I take this one here, but they're actually not even held up. So I get both. I'm surprised. So I'm down to 2, and I have to pull 1, and it both come out. So I lose this one ends the game, and then I lose 1 here, and I forgot about above the line, below the line. So let's count these up. 3 and 3 is 6. But I'm going to do multiplication, so I'm going to count up the number of 3s. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So that's 33. 33 and 3s. I probably need to write this down. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 2. So that's 20. So that's 53. 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. Not bad. Not bad. That's kind of fun. Okay, so we're going to put this game away. always leave them just how they are on the board, basically. It's not really a thing or not. It's just... Alright, so we're going to try to keep this flat so it doesn't bend or break. Put that on the bottom there. Oh, my teeth. Excuse me. Was that right? Goes like this to the board. It seems like it's so much bigger. All right, so that's booby trap. I'm gonna go put this back in the game closet. And I'm gonna have to blow my nose. I'm gonna get Battleship. I can't really play Battleship, but I can look at it. Whoa, what happened? I'll get 3 of them here. Whoa. I guess there were puzzles at the... These are 3 tough games. Okay, so we got Mastermind. Easy to learn, easy to play, but not so easy to win. It's sort of a coding game, in a way. They use color dots with pegs, and then pegs on the side. Pressman, maker of Tri-Ominoes. Break the hidden code. Excuse me. In this game, I need a Kleenex. I'll use a napkin. Oh no, I got a Kleenex right here. Break the hidden code in this game of cunning and logic. For 2 players, ages 8 to adult. But I think you only have 1 board. And then this one was my fantasy game. Was Mileborns. It's a Parker Brothers French card game. And they have this really cool card on it that's like a spinning tire. And I never actually understood how to play the game almost all of the time. At some point, my dad probably said, all right, we're going to teach you how to play. But this is a 1971 Parker Brothers from Salem, Massachusetts. The zip code they had was 01970, made in USA. Parker Brothers trademarks for its French card game equipment. And the cards in here were totally cool. I mean, it was just like, this stuff was like way out there. You had scoring cards. You got somebody's writing here, either my mom or my dad from way back when. Let's see if this card. I mean, these cards are just like so cool looking. But it wasn't a French language. And if I remember correctly, the instructions we had was in French too, and I could not figure it out. But somehow we got the English version. 1962 Parker Brothers, created by Edmond Dujardin. And this one is not in French, so we must have gotten a new version of this, and I don't actually want to read it but I can show the cards. I also had a reminiscent toy that was one of my favorite toys. It was a tire like a Firestone or something with sort of a spinny type of thing, and you could wind it and roll it, and then the internal momentum would keep it rolling. And it had a rubber tire and everything, but it was just one tire that you'd rotate. You'd wind the one tire. I don't know actually where that is. One of my favorite toys, but I couldn't play with it all that much. So here are the cards. They had, roulette, roll. That's a green light. And they just had interesting stuff here, like a 200 milepost with a bird, or 200 speed kilometer must have been. I don't know. There's a stop. Almost looks Asian now, but some of the restaurants, Asian restaurants, sushi and stuff, they use that writing. But this is a French card game. You got a bunny here, 100 bunny, And this is a cool one, man. Look at this, out of gas. How did I know that? Panda Essence, out of gas. They got a guy pushing the tire up there, or pushing the car up there. And then you had gasoline, Essence. Gasoline, Essence. 75. But where's my favorite card? Fin de limit de vitesse, end of limit. I didn't see, I mean, how would you play this game? End of limit? What's that mean? You don't run out of gas. Here we go. This is one of them. This one looks like it's changed. It's this tire. Rue de Secours, spare tire. You wonder how, games like Magic the Gathering by Wizards of the Coast came out later, right? Somebody had to have drawn these or done these on some type of computer system or something back then, and then, printed all these. Vitesse 50 limit. There was another one that, oh, here we go. This one, Driving Ace. As du Volant, Driving Ace. Look at that card. Is that cool or what? That's like totally cool. It's this like diagonal diamond type thing. And it's got really cool. I'm sure I've done this before, but, and here, repairs. And the last one I'll show is accident. Oh, my arm's getting sore. I'm gonna put somebody on Twitch. So I never really understood all the rules and stuff like that, but in terms of style and coolness, this is like way out there. It was not like the other stuff from the 70s and 60s, right? You had Booby Trap, which was sort of methodical, mathematical sort of, right? But this, from France, was totally different. Here, La Marque a 1.000, 1,000 Borns. Borns Exposés, X. Shock Bot Exposé, 100. So. Distance cards. Guide to Mileborns, 1,000 milestones. So there's a couple of them we didn't see. There's one extra tank, there's one puncture proof, and there's one driving ace. There's one right away. There's 3 out of gas, 3 flat tire. I don't know, maybe this has changed. I can look, I'm not going to look for the other ones. There's only one of them. Okay. Let's look at the Battleship game before we do Mastermind. So this is the combined strategy and luck in this exciting naval action game. Ages 8 to adult. Sink all of your opponent's ships. 2 players. Milton Bradley, Springfield, Massachusetts. 01101. Made in USA. 4730. Sink your opponent's fleet. Mark the hits. Call out the shots. Set up your fleet. Milton Bradley with a key. Key to fun. Okay. So they came with these boxes. They're plastic boxes. And on the right, you have your 5 ships. One of them has 5. One of them has 4. One of them has 3. Or one of them has 3, and then 2 of them have 2. And that's what they are. One's an aircraft carrier, one's like a destroyer or battleship. One's a cruiser, and then like one of them's like a submarine, and one of them's like I don't know what the other one is. But here they are. Battleship by Milton Bradley. Printed in USA. See, they're like these little kit type things. My friend Chris and I would play this. Oops. Anyhow, so we fold this open, and we gotta look at this. Okay, so we got the red and the white. When your opponent calls it, you put white. When they hit your ship, you put red. So we have 5 hits to sink carrier, 4 hits to sink battleship, 3 hits to sink cruiser, 3 hits to sink submarine, sorry about that, and 2 hits to sink destroyer, battleship. And they had a little bit of like a control panel down here just for design. They had sort of a wavy sort of terrain on the bottom of the blue sort of ocean here. And you can put your battleships in here. And they have numbers and letters, so A through J, and 1 through 10. So I'll do C3 through C7. And then I'll put this one here, D9 through F9. I'll do upper, A3 through A5, E2, oh, I messed it up, E2 through EH. And you had to hide it from your opponent because your opponent's looking at you like, are they going forward or back? And then we'll just put one right here. F7, no, F6 through F7. So that's it right there. And then you call your opponent. I look at my board and I also post them up here. So where am I going for? I'm going for G3. G3, and they say miss. So I go, darn it, right there, miss, G3, miss, right there. And then they say F4. I go, F4, miss. Okay, miss. And I'm going to stick with G. G9, hit. All right, G9 is a hit. Now, I'm on a roll. So should I win or should I lose? I don't know. So I got a hit there, but I have no idea. 2 hits, he has to say, if I get another hit, he has to say, you sunk my destroyer. If I don't get a hit, I got to go all around, whichever way in a row. And to 3, he has to say, you sunk my submarine, you sunk my cruiser, my battleship, my carrier. Okay, so it's their turn. They're going to go H8, miss. G8, miss. Darn it. Now I realize I've had a lapse of judgment. I've done all 3 on G, but I've gotten 1 hit. B4, miss. H9, miss. B2, miss. I'm really on a roll here. I'm not going to go for the 2. I think this is a big one. I don't know. F9, hit. B3, miss. This is out of sorts. E9, hit. And then you wait. Did they say something? You sunk my submarine or my cruiser. Either a submarine or a cruiser. I don't actually know. So that one stays. Okay. D10, miss. B2, miss. F4. You already called that, dude. You already called that. Oh, yeah, I already called it. Okay, F1, miss. So somebody's going to get really upset after this game, let me tell you. B9, miss. J4, miss. D3, miss. They say D3 or D4? D4, miss. J7, miss. Okay, now at this point, we'd say, you want to take a popcorn break? No popcorn, no popcorn. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've only sunk the cruiser, but it's 3 hits. It's a lot. D7, miss. B1, miss. I don't know what's going on today. A5, miss. J3. Miss. Okay, now at this point, spontaneity for my opponent coming towards me is totally off. But I also can't look at the board and have a hit and a miss. So I got to think about this. What I'm thinking about is H6. And he calls miss. All right. See, I was going to go B3, but I've already called it. I7. I don't know. I can't go forward with this. That's the game. Because I'll spin around. But I can't believe spontaneity. I miss so many. So I sometimes placing almost all of them in the upper part. Unless they get everything in the upper, right? I mean, these three right here. A2, B3, and B4. If you shift these two down and one over, right? You automatically have the carrier and the submarine. Almost the same with the cruiser and the battleship, but not, that's the one that you're going to hope to save. It's that small destroyer right there. And same with me. I got the cruiser, but I've missed all the others. The other one I thought was going to be right here, but I don't know. So anyway, that's battleship. You run down and you get a snack. Oh, Mom, I'll have a snack. Or maybe I'll make a milkshake. I think I gave up milkshakes. Hey, Dad.
What, Eric?
Do we still have that handheld blender?
I don't think so, but
Yeah, he's
that's
swing.
your mother.
Okay. All right, so that's battleship.
You keep your voice down a little.
Sorry. I'm gonna watch Twitch. I'll leave Mastermind for later. Well, let's see how Sailing Nanji.
Since we're putting in the transducer, all we can get is Ray Marine. In the future, everything will turn out to be Ray Marine. Autopilot, child pilot, and all of that. Which wasn't my preference, but it is what it is. And when you can only get some stuff, that's just what you can get. I'm obviously we're not sponsored or we're not supporting any of these products. It'd be great if they did choose to help support Nanji. Calling out to any Ray Marine B&G dealers. Any Ray Marine people actually, because I'm going to put a Ray Marine transducer in. So that's the option we're going to run with. Start with, because there's so many different choices of chart plotters and depth sounders and all of that sort of computer gear, but it all starts with the transducer. So all we're going to worry about is putting the transducer, and we can worry about the flow-on effect of what we install here in the cockpit, potentially in the nav station. We can worry about that for the future. But now we have a wing till we splash, so I've got to get the transducer put into the bottom of the engine. This is the old transducer. I've already cut the cable. I reckon the hub of Nanji, this is the flattest bit of Nanji, so that's where it's going to go. And there's already a previous hole there, so I'm going to replace that hole with the new transducer. But this previous one, they've got this wedge here, and on the outside they've kind of built up a bit of an area, so it looks like it's blasted. So the bottom of the transducer is perfectly vertical, and they've done the same to the top here, obviously to make it watertight so the nut can screw on down in it. But I've taken the nut off here, I guess I'm just going to have to smack it with the grinder on the outside to see how much needs to be done. So I've given it a whack with the hammer on top here, and nothing is falling through, so it's well glassed in. this one here.
All right, I'm going to end there.
So I'm gonna have to
I hope you're doing good. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.